Okay, boys and girls, so for today, our read aloud is going to be about rainbows. So we also have an activity for this one. It's going to be a KWL chart. We've made them before, so make sure you have your paper and your pencil or anything to write with so we could get started with that. So your KWL chart is going to look like this. So you're going to put it in 3 sections. The first one's going to say what you know. The middle section is going to say what you want to know. And then the last section is going to be what you learned. So for each section, we're going to write 1 to 2 things on each one of them. And they're all going to have to deal with the story. So for the first 2, we're going to go over before our story. And then what you learned, we're going to go over it after we are done reading our book. So make sure you pause the video and get started on your activity, and then I will read you the bullet points. So since we're talking about rainbows, I want you to do, for the first part, I want you to write 2 things that you already know about rainbows. Anything that you know about rainbows, one or 2 things on the first section. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can write them. So then for mine, my first 2, what I already know about rainbows is I know that we see rainbows after it rains, and I know rainbows are created by the light of the sun. So that's what I already know about rainbows. So make sure you have your 1 or 2 things on what you already know about rainbows. And then for our second section, we are going to write about what you want to know. So what do you want to know about rainbows? Or what are you curious about? So write 1 or 2 things. And they can be questions too, because I wrote them as questions. So my first one is, when do rainbows appear? And I want to know, how do rainbows get their colors? So that's what I want to know from rainbows after reading the book. And then so for what you learned, this one we're going to go over after we read the book. So it's okay if after we read the book you didn't answer your 2 questions. And this one you're just going to write then fun facts at what you learned. But first we're going to read our book, so let's get started. So this is our book. Our focus question for this one is, how does a rainbow form? Our words to know are going to be angle, illusions, experiment, indigo, globe, and reflex. Our table of contents, we're going to go through our introduction, where and when rainbows appear, how rainbows form, the colors of the rainbow, and our conclusion. Introduction. When the sun shines after it rains, run outside. You may see a giant rainbow sweeping across the sky. Sometimes you may even spot small rainbows indoors when sunlight shines through a window. Rainbows are illusions made by light. We can see them, but we can't touch them or walk around them. Outdoor rainbows seem to move away when we go toward them. Rainbows appear when light shines through something clear like water. They are beautiful tricks of light. Science, though, can explain the tricks. Where and when rainbows appear. Look around the next time you see a rainbow. The sun will be shining from behind you, and there will be rain in front of you. That is where you will see the rainbow. Rainbows need water drops and sunshine to form. Rainbows most often appear in the morning or late afternoon. That's when the sun is in the best places to create one. You might even see a double rainbow. In our picture, we see a double rainbow right there. It says double rainbows are special. The colors of the outer rainbow are in the opposite order to the colors in the inner rainbow. You may see rainbows in the midst of a waterfall too. A splashing fountain can also create a small rainbow. Rainbows can even form under a bright moon. These are called moonbows. Moonbows are dimmer and much less common than rainbows. We usually see a rainbow as a half circle. It actually forms a full circle, but from the ground we can only see the top half. Sometimes a lucky airplane pilot might see the complete circle of the rainbow from the sky. Rainbows in myth and tales. Vikings said a rainbow bridge linked their gods to earth. In Ireland, people tell fairy tales about gold hidden at the end of the rainbows. Elves guard these pot of gold. The Hindu god Indra is shown using a rainbow as an arc's bow to shoot lightning arrows. How rainbows form. Years ago, a French scientist decided to study rainbows. He used the sunlight and a big globe of water to experiment. He found that to see a rainbow, a person must be looking at light from the right position. Understanding how light travels helps explain rainbows. Think of running on land. Now imagine trying to run through knee-deep water. You will move more slowly through water because it's denser or thicker than air. In the same way, light moves faster through air than through water. Light bends when it moves between water and air. That's why a pencil sitting in a clear glass of water looks bent. Outdoor rainbows form when water drops meet sunlight. The light bends as it enters each drop. The light then reflects or bounces off the back of each drop like light of a mirror. The light bends again as it leaves the drop. Light bends and bounces in millions of water drops at once. This process makes all the colors of a rainbow. The colors of a rainbow. Sunlight is made up of many colors. We can see them when water drops split the light into different colors. To see a rainbow, you have to be in the right place. Each water drop reflects colored light at a slightly different angle. We can only see red light shining from the drops at the rainbow's top. Those drops are in the right place to shine the color red back at us. In the same way, we can only see violet shining from drops at the rainbow's bottom. The colors of a rainbow always appear in the same order. The name Roy G. Biv can help you remember the 7 main colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Our conclusion. For a long time, rainbows have been featured in art and stories from all over the world. Most people find it hard not to stop and stare when a rainbow appears. Science explains how these colorful displays happen. Water drops bend, split, and reflect light. Then we are able to see the many colors of a rainbow. Still, the beauty of a rainbow is a magical sight to see. And then we have our glossary. So go back to your activity and make sure you answer these questions down here. And if you weren't able to answer the questions, then write 1 or 2 things on what you learned about rainbows. So go ahead and pause the video or go back to the video if you have to. And so I'm going to go over mine. So my first question was, when do rainbows appear? So for that one, the story told me when light shines through something clear like water. So it's like how I knew that rainbows come after rain. Now I know that after rain, when the sun comes out, the light shines through the water and ends up making the rainbow. And then, so for my second question, that was, how do rainbows get their color? That one was, each water drop reflects colored light at a slightly different angle. So that's how I was able to answer my questions. Now remember, if you aren't able to answer your questions, just make sure to write some fun facts that you learned about rainbows.